we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie authors on their road toward publication. I'm Jennifer Carl Tong, and I write historical Christian romance.
I'm Christina Catane, and I write multiple genres, including Christian dystopian fiction.
I'm Jamie Hirschberger. I write short fiction under the pen name J.R. Nichols.
And I'm Rhonda Hagerman. I write fiction and nonfiction.
And welcome to our anniversary edition of the podcast. Yay!
1 year! Wow. And we're already getting a head start on next year's video, it seems like, because we're already discombobulated. What's going on? Are we live?
We had so many tech issues this morning before we even started, and should not be a shock, because that would really be the only true way for us to celebrate if we think back to our year of figuring out how we're going to podcast and having lots of tech issues and finally finding something that worked, and then that thing deciding it was going to go away, and then we found StreamYard. So it should not be a surprise to us that we had some tech issues this morning, but here we are. So we are live, quote unquote live. We are actually recording the portion that you're seeing right now because Rhonda could not be with us on Friday. However, myself, Jamie, and Tina are in the chat live right now. So this appears to be live, but we've recorded it. So we are here chatting it up with you guys, and we really appreciate all of you who have joined us this year as well as today especially. So, but as we always do in every episode, we like to have our What's Up, which is when we take a few moments and talk about our day. And I'm going to start with Rhonda because she is right here.
You had to practice that because I'm not that good.
No, I actually just thought about it. Like as you guys were talking, I was like, oh, how does this work?
Oh, you're great. Okay. What's up with me? Well, I'm just plugging along at my nonfiction. I'm really excited that I see a light at the end of the tunnel for that. And so really that's been what's up with me. I'm pretty much done with cleaning out my grandma's house, which has been taking my summer up. And my poor garden, I hate looking out there because it's been devastated this year. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much everything that's up with me right now.
My garden is a mess too. This has been a crazy year in Michigan for sure.
Yeah.
My weeds are flourishing.
Oh, yeah.
As usual.
All right, Tina, on that note, why don't you share your What's Up today?
Oh, well, yesterday, which was Monday, I had like a couple of milestones in our life because my son turned 16 and it was our back to school picnic for our co-op. And it just has me thinking, like, 2 years, my son's going to be 18, done with high school. Who knows where he's going to go or what he's going to do. If he follows along with his elder siblings, he'll still be here another 10 years. But it just makes you think, like, what am I going to do with myself when I have no kids at home? So that's kind of like, that's the stuff I've been thinking about.
Rhonda's going to start a support group for us. She's leading the way in that, and then you're next, and then Jamie and I will follow along. So, all right, what about you, Jamie?
I can't believe it's Friday already, which this week it's not. So at least this week, I don't feel like I fell into some kind of time tunnel and woke up and suddenly, boom, another week has gone by. But so it's really strange because my husband, he travels a lot for work. And so when he's home for an extended amount of time and then he leaves, I guess what happens is I feel a little more ready to see him off again. But he was home for like a day. And so when he left, it was really like, ugh, because I guess it was just such a short visit. So it's so funny. I totally recognize about myself that I do this retail therapy thing. So suddenly, I have an appliance that needs to be replaced, or I have, the kids all need clothes or whatever. And I head out and do shopping. But thankfully, I have an awareness and I tend to stay in a budget. So, but yeah, so that's been me just, having a little bit of retail therapy to lick my wounds and stuff. And that's kind of what's been going on these past few days. What about you, Jen?
It's funny. All right, so I'm gonna take some of my time to talk about retail therapy because my girls they're in their second week of school right now. So before they went back to school, I took them shopping. And when I was younger, my mom always took me to Detroit shopping. That's just what we did. My mom was from Detroit, so that just made more sense for her. So I said to my girls, we're going to Detroit, and that's what we did. And well, Detroit. If you're actually from here, it's Metro Detroit. We went down to 12 Oaks Mall, and I was like, jazzed for this. We waited till after the podcast and went down, and we probably shopped for about 2 hours, and all my girls were like, can we be done now? And I looked at them like, who are you? Like, whose children are you? Because I know you look like me, but you don't shop like me. So it was the weirdest experience for me. So, but other than my girls going back to school and that being pretty successful, I've kind of mentioned that I have a aunt that I adore that she's dealing with cancer, and she started her chemo this week, and that's been kind of turning our world upside down as well as hers. Obviously, hers is more so than mine, but just trusting in God and everything. It's not curable, but it could be pushed off, and that's what we're praying for, God's will in that. So that's what we're doing, going to school and going to the doctor all day long and trying to write in between. So as I said at the beginning of the podcast, it is our anniversary edition, and to celebrate, Tina had this great idea. Tina said we should do a gag reel video, which I had kind of saved a few things, but I didn't have a whole lot. So the ladies spent the weekend finding parts of videos that they thought we should share. And I put them all together. And I have to say, I almost shared it with you girls early just to make sure that everyone was happy with it. And then I thought, nope, because when I share it right now, everyone's going to be able to hear your reactions. Like, unless I mute you or you mute yourself. So the video we playing, and it's not, trust me, it's not like high quality, but it's okay. And everyone will be able to hear your reactions. And I want to be able to hear your initial reactions live. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So now I gotta remember how to do this. Again, new technology, right? So this was what our problem was earlier today was
and here's the thing. Yeah, like because Jennifer has to do streaming within streaming sort of a thing is like a complicated blah. So when you see us show up here, it's been a year of major tech hurdling for Jen. So let's hear it for Jen for her year of making all the tech stuff.
Wow, so, thank you.
Yeah, it was another day of drama. So let's see if we can get it to work.
All right. Here it is, the anniversary edition. The anniversary video.
Oh, we're all still on the screen too.
Oh no.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
We could have faces also.
I am super happy about that. I can't see where I am here. All right, here we go, ladies.
So we pretend like we're okay. Oh yes, we are so polished. Yes, that's a killer opening we have, girls.
And welcome to our very first episode. Hello, ladies.
Yay.
Hi.
I'm Christina Catane, and I write in all different genres. And right now, I'm writing a thriller.
Ooh, thrilling!
We kind of already knew that, but hi, and welcome to the Christian Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie authors on their journey toward publication.
Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. I'm Rhonda Hagerman, and I don't know what to say next. Oh, shoot. Oh, wait. I don't. Oh,
we're live.
Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey to publication.
And welcome to episode 14, our first live broadcast.
Wow.
Yay. Hi, welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication. I'm Christina Catane, and I write what do I write?
Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast.
Are we live?
We are live.
Welcome to the Christian Indie Writers Podcast, where we inform, encourage, and support Christian indie writers on their journey toward publication along with ours. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Welcome. What's your name again?
My name is Rhonda Hagerman.
The live button's not on yet.
I'm over here like winking like. I'm like,
So I put these weird booties on my feet. They have like goop inside. So basically, my what's up is that I'm waiting for my feet to peel, and I will keep everything. And I'm telling you, this thing was 1/10 the price of baby foot. So if I have good results, I will share with all of y'all, and you can have smooth baby feet yourselves. That's my what's up for today.
And if you don't have good success, think of a story you could write.
Well, I did not go skiing, but just a little quick story. I did break my foot on a ski weekend at the chaperone's house before we even left town.
I'm dying laughing. This is the topic that you discussed during your
I thought people would want to know. I mean,
I want to know about Jade.
Somebody out there wants to know.
I'm sure.
We had
No,
a-
that's I
quite the
was so
morning this
excited
morning.
about talking about Warren. How about you, Jen?
Oh, the angels are singing when it's my turn. So amazing. There.
Charlie, the little blue rabbit that I was talking about. We're getting ready to. He's currently single. If he had a Tinder photo, this would be it. You know, you could do like speed dating. It's just kind of cute and funny that they call it that. So they just put them in a little enclosure together, like a play yard for a toddler or whatever, and let them interact and see how they get along. And if they start fighting, then that's a no. Like.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a positive experience. They're both fixed, so it's not because they want to mate. It's like one rabbit showing dominance over the other, and if the other one accepts it, then you're good. So.
All right then.
Can I say that on the Christian Indie Writers podcast?
I think you just did.
I didn't. I wasn't thinking. Sorry. So this week's topic. That was an awkward. This week's topic is story structure. We don't want to have awkward story structures.
We really appreciate you all for joining us this morning as we are live here from our individual studios, aka our houses. We're professional here on this
That
podcast.
sounded really great, though.
Thank you. I shouldn't have given it away. Like our little broadcast boost that we have in our, at our disposal. I gotta say, before we get started, your background is the best. Like I feel like I really ruined. Like I should have done something more. All I have is the book here, but you rocked it, girl. That's awesome.
Well, I'm so excited, like I said. And I'm not going to show you the card that I got in the mail from Warren today. It said, "Would you be my doll for the rest of my life?"
Aww.
Yeah, and it's a romance specific in this particular case. So I think she is
Right.
the voice of authority there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you. I also want to say that I am highly caffeinated right now. Oh, did you see this?
Where did you ever get
That
such
was
a
so
neat,
smooth.
interesting mug?
Yes,
About the
very,
Interesting mug.
very unique.
Oh, I am not the only one with these.
Hi, I'm a Jane.
You are quite.
You know.
Yes.
Barb says, I love bin bonds. I think she meant bonbons.
Maybe she likes pennies also.
Penny pony.
Penny pony and bin box.
Anybody that tunes into this to see what tomorrow night's going to be, we promise not to ask you and call you names and see what you're writing in here. We only do that to the people we love the most.
I had to get Barb
I
in there.
watch YouTube videos for a living, And there are videos out there way more boring than this one.
B is for asphalt or asphalt. How do you even say that word? I can read it. I just can't pronounce it. You know, the black stuff.
Asphalt.
Like, I can't have a B one. I have to have an A one. You
Oh,
have to name the main character
Asphalt.
Angelica or something. What did you say?
Asphalt.
Because I hear a lot of people say asphalt, which is just not right then.
No, it's not.
Okay, whatever. So A is for sidewalk. You know, they need to be our
Sorry.
first endorsers.
Mhm.
Send us a big case of them. I'll happily eat one every time we podcast. If anyone from Snickers
And
is
we'll hold it up like this so everyone can
Mhm.
see the.
I will tape a wrapper to my shirt. Like,
I mean, our sandal season is coming up, girls.
It ended?
It's coming up.
I didn't know that it ended.
Oh,
Well, you know, we live in Michigan.
Birkenstock
so-
girl.
yeah.
I am that girl.
Yeah, Birkenstocks all the time, right, Jen? Speaking
Yep.
of like product endorsements,
I
when we make
shoveled
it
my
big,
side-
we're gonna call Birkenstock and be like, Birkenstock.
Yeah. I filled my sidewalk the other day so that I could wear Birkenstocks to go to take my garbage out.
I almost spit taked. Dogs in snow up to their neck, not a big deal. I want to wear my Birkenstocks to take the trash to the road. I'm
Right? I'm so glad that you understand me and I'm not alone in this philosophy.
All right, can shaped red jelly it is. That's what people like. So hey,
I know. Tradition.
great.
Yeah.
Our next sponsor of the Christian Indie Podcast is Ocean Spray Cranberry Sauce.
This episode brought to you by Snickers and Handbrake.
awesome.
Well, as long as we're like pushing products that we want to give us free stuff that we're endorsing, I just have to say 2 words: almond roca.
What is
Almond
this?
Roca.
Is that food?
You've never had almond roca?
Mm.
Oh
No,
my
but thanks
God.
for shaming me on national. Now I feel so embarrassed.
Our Ferrero Rocher aren't those bonbons? Because if they are, yes, I like bonbons.
I taste mud. Oh man,
That's the word.
never passively aggressively write her name on a roster, or write it extra clearly.
Oh, right.
1 N, 2 N.
Yep.
It takes a long time to dig an underground tunnel with a plastic spork. But the cafeteria.
A screeching noise from the dimly lit doorway brings me back to the now. A large pterodactyl. The end.
You end with pterodactyl? How can you end with pterodactyl? Like, hanging.
Because that timer said 3.
Yeah. And I'm very obedient.
Wait a minute. I need Jennifer's little face thing, and I need to ask: is this story about me, Rhonda?
I just dropped her. Hang on.
You dropped Jennifer's
Jennifer-
head?
Jennifer just slid across my floor again.
Quit
Now the other
abusing
side of her face is.
Okay. Rhonda, that was the best story I've ever heard. I loved it. I wish we'd finished it.
Jennifer, is it complete? Did you think it was a complete story?
Definitely. It is award winning. I love
Oh,
Jennifer-
this is hilarious. Jennifer said, "I hate you." And YouTube held her comment so we can review it. I had to approve it. Hate speech.
And like I said, Jennifer. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, one moment. Jennifer's in the room. Okay, that was a complete story. You know.
She said, "I'm so glad I didn't have to do this prompt."
Oh yes, yes. I am so glad I didn't do this prompt. I have way too many words for that.
Well, I'm at camp meeting and I've done nothing.
So, my nonfiction is not published yet. So anyway, but I do have a fairy garden wall. So,
Priorities. Hashtag
I didn't write, so I was having fun. Jennifer thinks you're stalling.
Well, she does.
Put
know me.
the mask on and say you're stalling.
Okay, Rhonda, you're stalling. Get a move on. Okay.
Feeling really scattered and all over the place. I have my irons and a lot of irons in the fire, and I can't really seem to focus. I thought,
Well, she's laughing right now, so that's a good thing.
Well, I failed miserably.
So let me start by saying that I agree with the spirit of what Tina's saying about being flexible with your goals, but I can excuse myself by saying, well, I can be flexible way too many times. And then I end up not accomplishing anything. So I've got to be stricter with myself. And maybe you guys are, at a more mature level than I am in getting this stuff done.
wait a second. Do you forget who you're talking to?
You're in every way. I just meant in one particular way.
All right. So thank you for joining us today on the Christian Indie Writers Podcast. I'm sure my family comes rushing in here and interrupts some more.
All right, so until a week from Thursday, and always, may your pen be prolific, may your deadlines be met, and may all of your words honor Christ. Now I'm going to come real close to the computer because that's supposed to stop recording.
Oh yeah, bye. And here's my
There he goes.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay, stop now.
Oh,
This is
Tina,
all
how do you
recorded
know
right now.
this? Yeah, we're still recording.
I saw it while I was working.
I mean, how would you even bring up the subject?
Yeah,
I would just bring it up.
Yeah, you
Tina,
would.
of course you would. Yeah.
Matter of fact, after I watched it, I had the little commercial thing that I had to watch. I just totally logged off of work and went in the other room and
No, no, no. Okay, la 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 la. La, la, la. Good combo. It's a good combo.
This concludes the Christian Writer Podcast. So until next week,
May your pen be prolific.
Your deadlines be met.
And may all of your words honor Christ.
Bye now.
Bye. This is going to go down in history as the absolute worst podcast that has ever aired in the history of podcasts.
And that's it.
That was funny.
Oh, it was so hilarious.
I just want to point out that the best episode of the whole year, I wasn't even in it.
I was gonna say,
Yes,
did
you
anybody else
were.
notice the one episode that Jennifer wasn't in was the whole thing was an outtake?
Yes, the whole thing was just gold. So obviously I need to be gone more often because
No.
I laughed so hard. Well, I think I watched that whole episode. It was hilarious. Especially the part where I hated you. YouTube wouldn't let me post it until Tina approved it.
Flagged as hate speech. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh golly. We've
Yeah,
come
what
a
a
long
great
way.
year. Yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way. Like from the very first episode, you think about it, like that first one with just 3 of us before Rhonda was on board 100%. We're like, well, let's just try it. To now, right? So,
Well, and I
now
think
there's 5 of us.
oh no.
Oh, it's so
Miss
great.
Rhonda head for the ones that she has to miss that are
Yeah. The best thing about that though is that the print quality on it, like it's color, I really thought she was gonna show up with like a black and white pixelated, but it looks so good. It's really a nice picture.
I don't do
Golly.
things that way.
No, it's great. It's really good.
Oh, golly.
Yeah, I mean, and to think too how I don't know about the rest of you. Well, I know about Tina, but it was not an exciting thing to be on camera. And I think that we've all grown a lot more comfortable, excuse me, with the whole, well, I guess I'm on camera sort of a thing, which is a part of being out there and trying to share your art with people. You have to be around, I mean, until you're James Patterson famous and can hide away mysteriously.
But everybody knows what he looks like, right? So that's part of the thing too, is like, especially as indie authors, is that what we have that traditional authors traditionally don't have. Some are kind of doing this, but we have more of a personal relationship with our readers. And so people want to see us. They don't want to see avatars of ourselves on our social media. They don't want to, and it is hard because a lot of creatives are introverts. And so this was difficult for some of us to like put ourselves out there. But I think it's been good for all of us. I do. And plus we get to see each other. Like we wouldn't get to see you, Jamie. Remember when you came to visit and you're like, I don't even miss you guys. I see you all the time.
Yeah, well, I just have to say, I have not been to Disney yet, which forgive me, Florida people, for coming here and not yet partaking of your tourist destination. But I do know that those masked characters, they all have what's called like a handler. And so, so like, oh, Goofy has to go and hang out with Donald Duck, but really Goofy just has to go use the bathroom or something. And so the handler like whisks them off. And like, if I were ever famous, that's what I would want to be like in some kind of a costume and not have to talk to anybody and just have the handler standing there saying, oh, J.R. Nichols now has to go and do her podcast. So bye everyone.
Can I vote for the corny?
I was just gonna say that.
That's my vote.
Oh, Rick, that's awesome. That's really. And then I could sign language to people.
Have you just eat Cheetos the whole time?
Yeah.
Have you seen
them in that air hole? That's just the screen. It just ends up powder.
Shred them. Oh goodness. Have you seen though? How? Oh, I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So, all right. So we have to do other stuff now. The video, though, it was really good. That was a really good video.
Aw, thanks. Did it make you guys think about things you'd forgotten about? Because I could not believe, like, I did not remember a single product endorsement us ever discussing that, and I could not believe how many of them I came across, and I didn't even look at every single episode that we did, so I can't imagine how many times Jamie came up with a product endorsement idea. But
I didn't remember saying I was going to make a NASCAR outfit of Snickers by putting the label. Like
that was awesome.
I had forgotten all about that.
Well, Jamie, in that episode, she showed 2 little clips of it, but you started talking about that, and Jennifer said that she wanted bonbons. She would do anything for bonbons. And then there was this like discussion for like 5 minutes. And like 15 minutes later, Jennifer's typing away, well, the definition of bonbons is she did not let go of the bonbons for the whole minute.
So true. Like that whole part was great, but like we couldn't put it in a video. Like people would be like, all right, move on to the next thing, which they probably were doing in the original episode as well. Like, okay, move on. But yeah, that's so true. Everything she said is exactly on. Like we talked about chocolate and candy. It was
and My Little Pony, and I was talking about the horse head on a stick that I had when I was a kid. Like, that was My Little Pony. Like,
but I had to include the pity pony part because it was Barb. Like we are like totally bagging on Barb, poor Barb in the chat, trying to be a fan, and we're like,
I hope that's not why she quit coming.
Well, I have to say that I hope everybody who is watching is able to find a group of people to support and encourage them in real life as much as I felt supported and encouraged by you ladies this year.
Agreed. I absolutely agree with that. And I if it weren't for you all, I would not be where I am in my publishing journey right now, without a doubt. I know I've said it before, but I would not be where I am right now if it wasn't for the three of you. And I just appreciate you all so much. And I appreciate this podcast.
Yep, I've got to echo all that too, because there's no way I would have just been frolicking in my garden and book.
In your fairy garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I ever would have finished my second rewrite ever.
Well, I am looking forward to us doing the accountability corner today, probably the first time ever, because we're going to be looking ahead to the coming year now that we're through our first year. But before then, we have to share our writing from today, because in every episode, we have our feeding of the backs, which is a feedback time. In our podcast, right before we start, we do a quick write, which we pick either 5 words or we have some sort of writing prompt, and we set a timer for 15 minutes. And in those 15 minutes, we write. And then we share it live here on the podcast. Insane? Yes, it is. But we only give positive, encouraging feedback because this is not an edited, polished piece. When we have a writing group, it's a little bit different. But today we had some words, and I'm going to pick on Jamie, who always picks on me. Jamie is going to go first, and she's going to share with us the 5 words that we had today.
Those 5 words were
brought to you
prosecute. Yeah. Prosecute, promise, workshop, diplomatic, and holiday. Those words again. No, just kidding. Okay. Here we go. They came for him on New Year's Day, a fact that disgruntled all the elves and even set Mrs. Claus's cap a kilter. After all, when your husband sleeps through Christmas Day, it only makes sense to compensate with an enormous shindig on the next immediate holiday. Bing, 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 a word from the lips. The local police were disinclined to be involved with the business in anything but a diplomatic capacity, only helping as much as to point them in the right direction, north. Even Fjord, the local outfitter, was loath to help the men and removed any piece of winter apparel in good taste or appropriate colors, leaving only the brightest and gaudiest available for sale and marking his inventory up to over 300% of what they normally sell for at retail. Thus it was that the entire town of North Pole gathered around the gates of the famous workshop and homestead. They stood in their best Christmas regalia, impervious to the cold thanks to both acclamation and enchantment, arms crossed, bare faces scowling as the feds approached in their winter camo parkas, looking like 2 thin polar bears. Scattered among them were occasionally spotted the ridiculous patterns and bright colors sold to them by Fjord, and those unfortunate souls received further scorn from the gathered assembly as examples of big city ignorance, government incompetence, and outright thoughtlessness. To come to the North Pole without a balaclava? He was led out in his suspenders, though Nerful chased after him with the big red coat in hand, seen or ignored. Just before he ducked into the one SUV that had been driven out for the sole purpose of his transport, he turned to address them all thusly. In spite of the tacit approval we have all operated on in years past, and in spite of numerous settlements we've dispersed to the making of similar claims, the World Court has found it necessary to prosecute. In spite of all that has befallen us, it has been a very good year. May God grant that it shall not be our last.
You got all the words in, and none of them felt like they were stuffed in there. They were all perfectly placed.
Except for when you did the eyebrows every time that you got to one of the words. I know.
I've been such a failure at getting all of the words. I was very proud of myself.
That is so awesome. What a balaclava? What is that?
Face thing. Baklava, on the other hand, is a delicious pistachio dessert.
Yes.
That is.
It's a face mask.
I've never heard that word before. See, we do inform on this show.
It's the asphalt of winter garments.
And it's a British term, so that's probably why you've never heard it, Jennifer.
Yeah, it's like those face mask things that only like show your like eyeballs,
Oh.
and so you can wear it like this, or you can pull it down and then wear it as a gaiter, or you can like do different. And I don't know that I pronounced it right at all. Gaiter,
You do.
Gaitor. Jennifer,
See,
you have the
I'm learning.
vocabulary
obvious-
with the podcast today.
Yes, obviously I have issues.
I'm gonna tell my kids they have to watch this episode as part of their homeschool. Why, Mom? Why?
All right, I'm gonna go next because I wrote Christmas too, and I was like just shocked that we both did Christmas. And I realized the word workshop is in there, so maybe.
Holiday.
But mine is. Oh yeah, I guess so. I guess I should have been that part of a
This episode's totally going to be on the bloopers next year.
I know.
Oh my gosh, this whole episode is just the bloopers. But mine is very different from yours. So okay. I stared at the brochure longingly. First person for you, Rhonda. I stared at the brochure longingly. The images of the trifold advertised a writing workshop nestled in a cabin in the mountains of Colorado. An idyllic setting, to be sure, a far cry from the chaos of a family Christmas holiday I would have to skip in order to attend the retreat. I sighed. The promise of a drama-free holiday was very tempting. Last year's celebration of our Lord and Savior's birth was filled with sibling rivalry and distant cousin problems. The theater production that was our family dinner began with my uncle's sister, who isn't even an actual relative since my uncle married into the family, showing up 1 hour early and complaining for the next 60 minutes that dinner wasn't ready yet. And it only went downhill from there. My mother, in an attempt to be diplomatic, tried to smooth things over with the non-relative by offering her an appetizer, shrimp cocktail. However, when Uncle Bill and Aunt Mabel arrived and discovered that their favorite appetizer, the aforementioned shrimp, had been completely obliterated by the obnoxious non-relative, the war began. You would think that we would have been surprised when old Mabel slugged the other old woman square in the nose, but we weren't. It wouldn't be a Mullins family get-together if someone didn't threaten to prosecute someone else. I secured the brochure to my refrigerator with a magnet with the family crest painted on it, a gift from the family reunion 2 years ago, and grabbed my keys. I didn't want to be late for work, especially if I was going to ask for extra time off around the holidays to travel to Denver. The end.
Oh, there's like so much packed into that. That's really interesting.
Lots of
I
family
always
dynamics.
love it when little old ladies punch each other out.
Yeah.
Just great entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know where this story even came from. Like,
It does not read like a romance either, Jen.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
It's a romance with oneself, right?
At the writing retreat, you don't know.
Ah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't. we
Hey
don't-
there, little Philly. Is that what he's gonna say?
Is that how they talk in Denver? I've never been. Comment in the box.
I
Comment in the comments
I
if you
don't
haven't.
think
Let me know.
anybody talks that way.
Well, he doesn't have to be from Denver, in my defense.
Oh, that's
Sounded
true.
more like Texas to me.
I know.
Actually, it sounded like John Wayne.
It did.
So yeah, I don't know. We have drama-free Christmases. Like seriously, like it is so like we just get there, eat, open presents, love y'all, and then we're done. Like there's no drama. So I don't know where this came from, but I think I'd enjoy a drama one a little bit better, maybe.
I think
Maybe.
the only drama in ours is the football game that was usually on.
Oh, yeah.
On Christmas, or are you thinking Thanksgiving?
I must be thinking of Thanksgiving. I don't know. They all
We
kind
have
of
the
run together.
Lions game. You gotta watch the Lions lose and then eat your
Yeah.
turkey.
Yep. Yep.
I watch A Christmas Story. Well, my family puts A Christmas Story on. You know how it's on for 24 hours?
Yep.
They just leave it on the whole time and it loops.
That's awesome. I'm coming over next year then.
Okay, you're welcome. All right. So on that note, oh wait, Tina doesn't like to go last.
No, that's fine.
I don't care.
Okay, then
Yes,
Rhonda's
you
going
do.
next.
Oh,
Because you
What?
never go last. So because we always think you don't like to. So Rhonda.
Oh.
Rhonda,
Oh,
you're
okay.
next.
yeah, Rhonda.
All right. Oh, I went the wrong way. Sorry. Okay.
You should do something fun like and then I hold it up.
You can toss it to the side and I'll
Yeah, we could toss it around like a beanbag or something.
That'd be a great promo video.
Well, they'll
Let's
come
do
down
it.
to you.
And all of our
Yeah.
extra time we have. Let's coordinate. that.
Right.
All right.
All right. I will prosecute the very next person that walks in here singing happy birthday. I say through clenched teeth and a fake smile to the crowd hovering around my cubicle. They're just milling about my desk as if it's the last day of school before the Christmas holiday break, without giving a thought to my continued efforts to make my workday productive. So if I'm already in here, can I sing to you? Asked Harvey, that devilish grin on his lips, softening me up ever so slightly. He's wearing my favorite cologne today, the one that I bought him last year when I was his secret elf for the office party. I swallowed hard, trying to remain office diplomatic with him and somehow keeping my face stern. Well, I promise you I will react. I glanced over his shoulder that was so close to my face and caught the look Shelley was sending my way. She knew what I meant by that last comment, but she is the kind of good friend who would never give me away. Inhaling his cologne one last time, I put my hand on his arm, tried not to be distracted by the perfectly developed muscle under the fabric, and said, "Okay, now go." The cracking in my voice surprised me. I have to finish the program for the workshop. I emphasized that with a little shove, told the boss I should coordinate. I shoot everyone else out of the office along with the cake. The end.
Ah, a romance.
It's a romance.
I liked it. I want to know more.
It just came out.
I don't know what I liked better, the story or her you going tee.
me going tee.
No, it was Rhonda. It was funny.
I have to say though, I don't know why, but like his secret elf, I thought, well, maybe there's already some relationship there. So instead of like a secret Santa, you were doing like a or secret sister or whatever. Because I thought that maybe they had already made a connection.
I love the idea that like she was his secret elf, but she probably like loved doing that because she had the crush on him. So
I think she did.
Uh-huh.
That's really just a whole big bucket full of good. It was really good, Rhonda. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, your writer's voice always seems really fully developed. Like when you attack a piece, maybe it's because you spend a lot of time writing first person. I don't know, but it always feels like, oh my goodness, I know this person by the end of the and it's the narrator voice, right? So yeah.
Well, good. Thank you.
All right, Bambina.
Well, I think it's appropriate that I went last because I'm the only one that didn't even give a nod to Christmas.
How did you?
Oh, well, good.
And
Did you get any of the words in? I thought
one.
Oh, well, okay, that works.
Because I wanted to write in my Angelica story world, and none of those words fit in that world. So, I mean, I was thinking about how I could fit some of them in, but it just didn't happen. So,
let's hear it.
Angelica had made a promise, and she was determined to keep it. As she moved from doorway to doorway along a deserted street, she felt her heart hammering in her chest. There was evil here. She could feel it. It weighed on her. Her legs felt wooded and her mind was reeling. The dark shells of the giant wigwams from old Lady Catherine's stories rose into the sky all around her. Angelica had always thought those wigwams were symbolic, perhaps of man trying to be taller than God or trying to reach heaven like the Tower of Babel. Yet here they were, black husks of what had once been. The evil oozed through the hard walls and from the ground beneath her. She closed her eyes against it for a moment and prayed. When she opened her eyes, she could see a light shining somewhere ahead of her. With a deep breath and renewed determination, she continued on. She had faced fear before. She was strong, wasn't she? She swallowed the lump in her throat and set her mind to remembering all the things God had shown her this far. The angels that fought for her against the dark ones, holding them off so she could get away, and all the near misses that should have been the death of her. Though she only caught glimpses of that spiritual realm now and then, she knew they were all around her even now, guarding and guiding her, ensuring that her quest would be completed. After all, she wasn't doing this just for her grandpa. She was doing it for God. She understood that now. She also suspected that if she hadn't run from what he called her to, she let that thought go and renewed her efforts to remember the victories. Voices in the distance echoed through the empty street, men's voices, gravelly and threatening, although she couldn't make out the words. There was a door directly across the street. It was open just a crack, but it promised a place to hide. So Angelica sprinted across and slipped inside.
Wow. That was really Rich.
Yes, I think even somebody who is listening right now, viewing this right now,
Mhm.
even if they don't have not read anything else, which we have been privileged to read some of this story, I think they would like be intrigued just by reading that
Yeah,
little bit.
For sure.
definitely.
Yeah. That's a
So is that
really
is that a scene that you had been editing and or is
No,
that hmm,
no, I was just been trying to do some sprints from in Angelica's head.
mhm,
Um,
wow.
because that's kind of what I'm doing with my editing right now is going through and finding where I haven't really put Angelica on the page and putting it in there. So I'm trying to keep myself in her head.
Mhm.
that's wise.
Yeah. Do have the story, and then the next one will just be plot. And so it's like some chapters are taking forever because there's like nothing of Angelica in them. It's just plot, and some of them are really easy, and I'm like, okay, that I don't need to do anything else to that one. So that's kind of where I am.
Awesome. Well, gosh, I hope that makes it into the story. That was really good. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Might have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll find a place for you.
All right. Well, this is our point in the episode where we have our accountability corner. And in the accountability corner, we usually share what we, if we met our goals from last week and what our goals were going to be for the next week. But since this is our anniversary edition, our 1 year birthday, we're going to actually talk about our goals from the last year. And then we're going to set some goals for the coming year. We did not establish who was going to go first. So
Jen, do you want to go first?
sure. That would be fine. All right. So, in the past year, I was able to write book 4 during NaNoWriMo, which was I got it mostly finished, and then I finished book 4 first draft in December. So that was a huge goal, and I'm glad I met that. I at this point had planned on publishing 3 books by now, or by next month. I was supposed to be 3. I've published 2. The 3rd book is still kind of languishing there. So didn't quite meet that goal, but gosh darn it, I published 2 books.
Yay.
So yes, I'm very excited about that. And I have helped I've really worked to build my platform. I have over 100 people in my Facebook group. I have about 100 newsletter subscribers. So I'm building the building blocks, and I'm getting there because I'm really not going to really launch any advertising of any means really until all 4 books of the series are done. So moving forward, in the next year, my hope is and my plan is to finish book 3 and publish book 3 and book 4 of this series. For Nano this year, my plan is to write the book that I thought I was going to write this camp here, which did not happen. So my Widows of the West book 1, and I want to get a contemporary written within the next year. So I know that I can write at least 2 books in a year. I'm hoping to do more. So, but my goal for sure is to publish 2, hopefully 3 books, including my first Widows of the West book, and to write the Widows of the West and a contemporary. Because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth between the contemporary and the historical, because I don't want to leave the historical for any big length of time. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to put out a whole series of contemporary and then like maybe lose my historical audience. But I really have these contemporary books that I got to get out of me. So that's my goal for the coming year, and to continue to and then to get my feet really wet into advertising. So that's my writing and marketing plan for the year. Jamie, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, it was really funny because instead of what's up or instead of accountability corner, let's talk about the year and then the goals for next year. Oh, yeah. Well, I've not thought about a goal for next year. So I do not have it as mapped out as neatly as you do, Jen. And I think about when we sat down and did the planning session in July, which that whole plan just went out the window. Nothing that I thought that I would do, did I do in that kind of an order. And so whatever, I have I have personality issues that I have to contend with as far as being told that I have to do something kind of makes me not want to do it. And so I don't know if that's what was going on. But on the positive side, I did get my second book of my Somerville saga or Somerville series or whatever it's called out. It's the famous Corny story, which I'm very happy and pleased with. I also published 2 short pieces and managed to get published in the Bethlehem Writers Roundtable. And also I'll appear in the 42 words compilation, which, by the way, if there's anybody who isn't published and can write a 42-word story, he's looking to make sure he has different authors, so he won't accept more than one piece from one author, and he needs more submissions. So if you want to go do a search for the 42-word anthology, it might be an opportunity for you to get published as well. So I'm really happy with how the year went in spite of myself. I guess I sort of stumbled into some successes. As far as the coming year, I've been working on editing my new sort of quasi-noir comedy romp sort of series, and I'm really excited about it. And so the goal, I suppose, for this year would try, okay, I have a lot of editing and stuff to do, and I don't like the word try, but it's going to be the year of Moxie and Frank Fargo and the Callahan Capers. And so that's the goal, is to be focused there and churning those out. And if I ever get the wherewithal, resolve, backbone, whatever, to revisit my Somerville saga, if I could get that book 3, that would just be a, what do you call it, coup de grace or something. I'd be so happy if I could get across the finish line with that book 3, because, well, it's just been sort of something I have not done and I need to do. So.
All right, so book 3, but in how many of the Moxie series are you hoping to?
What do you mean? Am I hoping to what? Well,
right.
there are, okay, I have 3 written.
3 written. And then are you hoping to publish all 3 of those next year? Get them polished?
Fabulous.
Okay.
It would be a fabulous, fabulous thing if that happened.
That would be
And
awesome.
then I don't, you said NaNoWriMo, and I almost just like had an asthma attack, quasi live taped on air, whatever, because I'm like, I don't even have the first clue what I'm going to write for Nano. So yikes.
Oh, we have all of October. Preptober. There'll be more Preptober coming from these 4 ladies right here. They don't know it yet, but there will be.
I think we should petition Amazon to make that genre official.
What genre?
I can't. What she said. Quasi-noir, something fun romp.
Yeah, they're fun stories, but they do have a mystery element, and I think that that's probably how they'll be branded, as mystery, cozy mystery type books. They'll be fun. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm excited too, because what we've read so far of them is awesome. So great.
Definitely.
All right, Tina, how about you?
Well, when I was looking through these videos to try to find bloopers for you, I came across me saying what my plans were for the month of July last year. So the month of July last year, my goal was to be halfway done with my rewrite of my Lost book. So I did finish that. I finished that whole first draft, and I'm about halfway done with the editing.
That's no small thing.
Right.
Although it seems like it's going really slow, I have made progress, so that was kind of encouraging. I remember I originally thought I was going to publish like the year before that, I think. So I didn't understand. You don't know what you don't know until you get there. So it's kind of been a learning process. So going forward, I definitely just want to get this editing done and get it published. That's my number one focus and my number one goal. And hopefully by the first of the year, but I just hesitate to put a date on it, because I seem like once I set a date, I relax too much or something. Like there's something wrong with me. Like I relax and then I think, well, I have till December, right? Because I am a procrastinator, and I tend to do things last minute. So this is too big of a project to do that. So that's why I hesitate to even put a date. It would be better for me just to take it in chunks as I go. And when I get there, I get there. And I think I'll get more done that way.
So even saying like within the next year, you would hope you plan to?
No, I meant like saying by the first of the year.
I see.
Within the next year, I want to get this book published. If it's not published by next year, it's going in the trash. That's all I have to say. Because, like, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life on this book. So for NaNoWriMo, if I'm not done with this editing, I'm not going to write something new. I'm going to work on my editing. Because I have to get it done. And there's too many, if I let distractions distract me, because to me, writing new stuff that I've never written before is so fun.
Right.
You know, that it's so easy to get pulled off. And I don't remember what I was watching, but this lady was talking about how she gets jazzed with, maybe it was Rhonda. It was Rhonda that says she gets jazzed with new projects.
Oh, so it was a podcast that you watch.
Yeah, it was ours. Wow, I'm getting old, guys, with memory. But I think I heard that from somebody else too, also recently. And so I get started really strong, but then I get bored. And so it's gonna have to take some self-discipline and some
you know what?
pushing myself.
I think that's maybe a characteristic of writers because, you know, isn't it a trope of a movie about a writer that the editor is like, when can I expect those pages? And the editor is like frustrated and the writer is like, I don't know. Okay, I'll get them to you next week. And then they go to like a beach house and they, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think it just might be something that writers are, I mean, think about it. Anybody with any sort of a project, you know, the tendency is to kind of abandon it and leave it half done and go start something new.
Plus,
Right.
editing is hard work. I mean, it's very hard, and it takes a different part of your brain than writing does. So, like, if you are a creative person and you spend majority of your time in a certain section of your brain, then you have to, like, you know, transition. It is hard.
But
so
it's
I think
not fun.
right, and I think it's good for other writers to hear that they're not alone in that. So I appreciate you sharing that and your feelings in that. But you can do it. You have the ability to do it. If I can make it across the finish line, anybody can make it across the finish line. So
And
that's
I
what we're here for.
specifically know that you can do it also. You know, like you totally are capable for sure.
Well, and I have a lifelong history of, I have a latch hook rug of a white cat that I started in like the 3rd grade that is still not finished.
It's probably more of like a beige cat by now because
I don't know. I don't know. My mother is it's probably in a box buried in my mother's garage somewhere. So, like, that's the story of my life, and I am going to finish this.
Okay, because this is not a white cat. This
Yeah.
is, you're doing this. So, all right, awesome. All right, Rhonda, we saved the best for last.
You mean the most work?
No.
Okay. So I totally sympathize with Tina because like she said, I like starting projects. I do not like finishing projects. And another problem that I have is apparently I have no concept of time because I have no idea how long something should take, I guess. And I guess it just comes from doing. And
Right.
I'm not copying everything you say, Tina, but I agree.
okay.
I'm trying to do this nonfiction, trying to get it done, and I'm making good progress on it. I'm thrilled about that. But I'm afraid of saying, well, I'll have it done by Friday because that's humanly impossible. And then I'm afraid of saying next month because I will procrastinate. Oh, I've got 30 days to do this. I can finish it. And I don't. So I'm just trying to work on a specific chunk every single day. And if I feel like working more, I will. So anyway, my goal for next year is I've got 3 more nonfictions that I would like to have done. And I'm trying to time chart how long I'm working on this project and trying to extrapolate how long a new one would take. And I'm hoping to do 3 more of the same thing that I'm doing right now. And then also I would like to get my fiction out by the end of the year. But like I said, I don't want to put a time on it. It's kind of freaking me out now.
Tea's ready. So say that last thing again. Oh, now we can't hear you. Oh, say that last bit again so Jen can.
I'm just
You
afraid of
want to get
putting
your
a time-
fiction released. You want to get your
Yep.
fiction released.
Yep, but I'm just afraid of putting a time on it and then freaking myself out and not accomplishing it.
Okay, so but let's go and be encouraging now, because you had said that without the podcast, you would not have made the progress that you did, and you did make some progress. If I recall correctly, you launched a website
Yes.
since we started the podcast.
Yes, I did.
Yes,
Do
and so you've started sort of social media. You've kind of dipped your finger in the. You have websites. You have email all ready to go, right?
Yeah.
And you did complete a short story that was speculative fiction that you did submit to a market.
that.
I mean, you've done some things this year to advance your writing career, and I don't want
Well,
you to
that's
feel
true.
like because you haven't crossed the finish line on the big thing that that you've not done anything. You've completely
Yeah.
made progress. So be encouraged.
Well, I do appreciate that, and I will not admit out loud that some of those things I completed so I could not do my big project. Maybe.
It's really interesting.
I would never
though.
do that.
Right.
I'm sure you wouldn't.
I think that another thing that we secretly battle that we don't always acknowledge, but it's really there, is you know, you put your work out there, someone might not like it, and then you might hear, oh, it's not good. And so sometimes that's the fear of crossing the finish line also. So be gentle with yourselves about that, but just try and kind of work through it in the same way you had to work through, well, my face is on camera. So what? It is what it is. And that's that, you know, and just get it out there. Everybody is not going to like it. Everybody is not going to like you. And yeah, I know it's ridiculous, but
well, they're just stupid then.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's how it has to be about your work. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. And if you have that mindset, this is what you guys need to be telling me when, you know, the 1 stars come rolling in or whatever. They just don't get it. They're not your people. And that's fine, because not everybody likes Salvador Dali. Not everybody likes Cher. Didn't we talk about that the other day? Not everybody likes, I don't know, name the most popular thing ever. There's someone who doesn't like it. There's people who don't like pizza, chocolate. Yeah.
I just read a book in my genre just very recently, and I've read other of her books, and this was like the 4th or 5th book in the series, and I was super excited when it came out. And when it came out, it was super short. It's just kind of like a shortish novella. But I'm like, all right, it'll be a quick read. When it was done, I was like, it was horrible. But I refuse as an author to give another author a bad review, but I was curious. So I went and looked, and she had all 5 stars. All 5. Because she's found her peeps. She's found the people that enjoy her writing. The things that were bothering me wouldn't bother anybody else. Does that make sense? And so the things that you are like maybe stressing about, or both of you, stopping yourselves from getting your writing out there, is because maybe it's not perfect enough, or you're worried about, I don't know what. It's all you. Because everybody has different, because let me tell you, I went back and I was rereading my first book because I was bored and we were on a car trip and my phone wouldn't work. And I was like, how can anybody read this crap? So, but there are people that like it. So there are different people, different audiences, different readers, and God has given you your stories and you need to get them out there. Was that encouraging? I feel like I was just bagging on myself, so whatever.
Only you can tell your story and prevent wildfires.
I was going to say that. Should have said it at the same time so you owe me a Coke.
Today's episode sponsored by Smokey the Bear.
And Coke.
And Coke.
And Coca-Cola.
Yes, Coca-Cola.
Cherry Coke Zero. The drink of the next generation. Or just me.
Awesome.
This has been a great episode, ladies. I just really, really appreciate all of you. And I can't wait for next year to see what kind of mess we come up with to celebrate.
Yeah. And like we've decided that we're paying for the streaming service for another 15 months. So we're gonna be around next year.
We're here whether you want it or not, people.
Right, even if it's just heads on a stick, all of us with a head on a stick, you know. And then we have hands.
We should do that one time. Like we should all get ahead of each other.
Oh,
and
like
then put it over, and we can pretend to be each other.
Oh my goodness!
I want to be Rhonda.
Oh no!
There's some payback.
Oh no! I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I think we might get into dangerous waters though, Fantina, because my filter is about as porous as hers is sometimes. And if I'm intentionally removing the filter, I wonder what would happen.
Oh, you'd be way worse than me.
I don't know if that's possible.
Sometimes a parody of somebody, though, you escalate for the humorous effect, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Just like when you go to get your caricature drawn, and like I always have this big head and this pointy chin and the big cheekbones because, that's what makes it fun.
Yep. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you ladies. And I also appreciate every single one of you that tune in every week or have watched us in the replays. You matter, and we hope that we are making a difference in your career as well. Please reach out to us and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to cover. Let us know if we are at all hitting the marks for you with your author career. But until next time, this is all for us here at the Christian Indie Writers Podcast. And until next time, may your pen be prolific, may your deadlines be met, and may all of your words honor Christ. Bye-bye.
Amen.
Bye.